Hello and happy Monday. So this Monday, we've got some really great questions around leadership challenges for 2025. So our first question actually comes from Susan. And Susan says, what's my role as a leader when AI can handle many traditional management tasks? As AI, so she's going to give us some context. As AI is more capable of data analysis, scheduling, basic decision making, and even strategic planning, a lot of us are questioning what uniquely we bring to the table, and are our jobs in jeopardy? Will the algorithm get us? Susan, wow. Okay, so this is a really great question, but here's the thing. I would say to you that you are the content creator. So while AI is great at processing information, while it's great at defining parameters, you bring the why to the table. You give the reason for the work. You connect the individual tasks to the larger purpose, and you help people see the big picture. AI can't do that. And which means that you are the human bridge. AI will analyze and do the analysis of performance data. It might suggest how to optimize it, but only you can use your critical thinking skills to be able to discern whether or not you need to do what AI has recommended. You might be able to flag situations where AI is not going to be productive. And more importantly, you're the one that's going to bring the empathy to the table, the human connection. So you're going to really be able to leverage emotional intelligence, and that is your competitive advantage. So we live in this world where we're fearful of the computers. If you're of a certain generation, you were around during the Terminator experiences, and so you're probably like, it's Terminator, and they're coming to get us. But the truth is that we are really the authors and the architects of the technology that is out there right now. And because we are the authors and the architects of the technology that's there right now, we are the decision makers. So, and we're more than those decision makers. We are the decision architects. We're going to be spending the time gathering the intel that AI provides for us. We're going to be able to be the ones, if we're using our critical thinking skills, Susan, of asking the right questions and considering the ethical implications. And we are going to be making the calls. We're going to be making the decisions based on aligning our values, our critical thinking with the data and the analysis that AI provides. AI is just very fast in terms of gathering data. That's what you need to think about it. It can gather the data quickly, it can analyze data quickly, but it really cannot make the ultimate decisions. And so I hope that's helpful. And I think your job is secure as long as you're building up those critical thinking skills and you're able to make those crucial decisions. All right, so our next question comes from Dave. And Dave says, how do I build genuine organizational resilience in an era of constant disruption? And so Dave gives us a little context for that. He says, with the geopolitical tensions, supply chain volatility, the rapid technology changes, climate-related challenges, it's really hard to know how I can create a resilient organization. I feel like leaders need to move beyond the traditional risk management, and we need to start asking more adaptive questions of our teams and our organizations. Wow, David, that is so good and it's so true. And you've kind of answered your own question in the explanation. One is that it is not just about resilience, it's also part of building resilience in your team. I'm going to go back to this, is the critical thinking skills that are required. So you need to build learning that can happen in velocity. So it's not just about learning something new, it's about learning it quickly. It's about being able to quickly learn from mistakes. It's about being able to hone those critical thinking skills. So it's your competitive advantage is how fast can you pivot when you've learned something and you've made a mistake. And so it's less about telling people don't make mistakes and more about telling them make mistakes quickly, learn quickly. Also, the other thing is that you need to be able to distribute decision-making authority across an organization. Traditionally, we've always thought of management as being a command and control structure, and we need to break that down. It doesn't mean, because I think a lot of times people hear that and they think it means that we need a flat organization. And I would tell you that a flat organization, it doesn't really work. To be honest, I've worked in flat organizations, and the problem is it doesn't work because you're asking people who have lived in traditional command and control environments to all of a sudden have a flat organization and then be really uncomfortable with how they make decisions and not really have the authority to make decisions because we say it's flat, but there's really someone that is making the ultimate decisions. What we need as decisions that are disseminated across an organization. We need to build people's skills so that they can make decisions. So it requires clear boundaries, clear principles, clear core values so that people can respond to multiple challenges simultaneously without feeling like there's a bottleneck of I need to go to this person or I'm stuck because I have a decision, but I can't make it because we say we're flat, but in reality, someone is going to come down and tell me I can't make that decision. So I'm afraid to make that decision. That's the reality of what happens currently in business. And so what we need to do is we need to recognize, yes, there is a hierarchy, but more importantly, how do we disseminate decision making so that when someone makes a decision, unless it's the wrong decision, it doesn't come back to bite them. And even if it's the wrong decision, how do we help them learn from that, build those critical thinking skills so that the next time they have to make a decision, they now have all the tools that they need to make that decision. The other thing is that we need to build capacity, not just systems. Right now, what's happening is that we create a lot of redundancy in our systems, but we don't create capacity for people. Human redundancy allows for organizations to maintain the functions. And what do I mean by human redundancy? So it's not just about training people, it's about cross-training people. It's about overlapping skills that creates those redundancies the same way we have system redundancies that overlap. That's really what it is. And finally, we need to cultivate an organization that highly, highly prizes productivity and does not waste time. Right now, we spend time because this is how we've always done it traditionally. So, David, I would say to you, we traditionally say to people that they have to work 8-hour days. That's what they have to do. The problem is that it breeds a situation where people slow down their work because they've got to fill those 8 hours. And instead of paying people for the hours, we need to start paying people for the project so that it becomes more about how productive are you in the time that you have and not to be watching the clock, but actually doing the work and getting paid for the work and not just for the time. Does that mean that companies then are going to be concerned because they're like, well, I'm paying a lot of money for someone that's only doing 4 hours of work? Well, the truth is you paid them for work that you dragged on and wasn't productive. And you'll actually get more done. Things will be much more productive. You'll actually get more work done. You'll get more productivity. You'll get more profits if you pay people what they're worth and pay for the project and not the time. So those are the things that I think will help. The last one I know is a bit controversial. I'll own that. But I think those are the things that will help David to make a company much more resilient. And with that, I will say thank you for those great questions. I will see you next Monday with a whole new set of questions. Have a great Monday. I hope it's beautiful where you are and you get to enjoy